So one of the most decorated careers in Indian cricket has come to an end today. Ajinkya Rahane called it quits from all forms of cricket in an emotional video where he recalled some of the memories of playing for the Indian team and what he has gone through in his entire career. He has led India. He has scored some fantastic centuries for India and has always been synonymous to grit, dignity, and someone who always gives everything for Indian team out there on the field. We'll discuss the career of Ajinkya Rahane in this video, and of course, we'll celebrate some of the moments of his international career, his IPL career, and his legendary career with the Mumbai team as well in domestic cricket. Bharat, Ajinkya Rahane, of course, the question everyone is asking right now: did he get his due? Did he get the credit that he deserved at the end of the day after achieving what he has achieved for the Indian team?
Yeah, to some extent, you can say that perhaps it didn't get the credit that he deserved, but still, whenever you think about India's folklore or India's cricketing history, his name would be etched in the memories of fans, mainly because he led India to historic triumph in the Border Gavaskar Trophy in Australia, perhaps the greatest Test series win by any team in the history of cricket. Because with the kind of team that India had for the final test, no one would have expected India to win that series, but still they won that game at the Gabba. And so, in some ways, I think he would still be remembered for a long, long time. His name would be reverberated by fans and experts. Yes, it has been a wonderful career. Ajinkya Rahane's career, right from the time when you first heard about him, when I was doing MBA, that was, I think, Uttar Pradesh were playing Mumbai in a listed game, and maybe Mumbai won by 1 wicket, and he scored some 70 or 60 odd. That is when I first heard about him. And after that, obviously, he played in Ranji Trophy. You saw enough of him in Ranji Trophy. And then you already talked about his exceptional knocks at Lords, Wellington, MCG, and the last of that, those knocks helped India obviously to post that famous win in 2020-21. So yes, he has had a wonderful career, a fine leader, a classical front foot batter. Nowadays, we generally see a lot of back foot triggers playing those ungainly shots in the T20 era, but very much a classical front foot player. And the stroke that he played at Lords in 2014, that lofted drive of Jimmy Anderson, that itself encapsulates my point. Pure and pristine batsmanship. So yes, it has been a fine career. Maybe the answer to your question, yes, some extent, he perhaps doesn't get the credit that he deserves, but still, his name definitely would be etched in India's cricketing history forever. Until cricket is played, until the game of leather and willow will be played, I think it will be etched for that series win against Australia in 2020-21. So, in some ways, his name will always be, I think, will come into the equation or will be counted.
Absolutely, Rohit. What do you have to say about Ajinkya Rahane's career, and did he get the credit that he deserved at the end of his career?
I think it's really hard at this point of time to uh, pinpoint on certain things about when he did get credit and when he don't. But I think as it's a political quote, as Manmohan Singh once said, that history will be kinder to me. So I think history will judge Ajinkya Rahane as someone who has done a lot, rather than just remembering, only a Lord's 2014 or maybe a Melbourne 2021. I was reading these multiple articles, and I read some of the very well written article before his career even start. So there were stories around that. He was waiting for 6 years, 5 to 6 years, after scoring that 143, I think somewhere around 143 in Karachi, in that very trophy where the champion of Qaeda Azam and the champion of Ranji Trophy, they they play each other. So twice they play in Pakistan. Once they played in Delhi, and in 2008, because of the terror attacks by Pak sponsored terror, it got cancelled. So I think from there, every opportunity he got, and in any position, he was. I was surprised that at that point of time, most part of his career, he's played as a 1, 2, 3, not as someone who can bat at number 5. So from there to almost getting his debut cap somewhere around 2013, from 2007 he got that first class debut, and whatever he's doing in between that, he was scoring runs, kept scoring runs. It was literally he break the door, which we call for Sarfaraz Khan or a Mayank Agarwal recently. But it was way back then in 2013, means not like almost 15 years or 13, 14 years, where he literally did that. So I think the journey which has started, I don't think people will much talk about, about this his initial part of his journey. But I think people will remember that, whenever there was a crisis situation as far as overseas tests are concerned, you look at that Melbourne innings, the 100 he scored in Melbourne, uh, dropped a couple of times, once by, if you got dropped by Steve Smith, you are lucky. You are lucky. In second slip, if Steve Smith dropping a catch, and it wasn't a difficult catch, means as per Steve Smith standards, Travis Head dropping you, there was run out possibilities, there was rain coming down. On the other hand, continuously wickets falling, means Shubman Gill, Cheteshwar Pujara, Hanuma Vihari, Rishabh Pant. There was wicket falling at regular intervals, and he kept on scoring those runs. So, and then his partnership with Ravindra Jadeja, we all remember. And so I think if you look at that situation, or the situation in 2014 at Lords, or his Wellington 100, or his 96 in South Africa, you have multiple innings. I remember white ball, nobody, I don't think how many people will remember this, but his 80 odd versus South Africa in Melbourne Cricket Ground during the 2015 World Cup was one of the finest innings. People all remember that for Shikhar Dhawan's century, but and after that, the way India bowled, in that particular match. But I think that 80 odd was one of the finest from Ajinkya Rahane. So there are multiple things to remember as far as Ajinkya Rahane's career is concerned. But I think, as all of the journalists were writing this, that one of the very last of someone who respects red ball a lot, someone who who needs that discipline in the dressing room a lot. I know people are not writing the name of that Mumbai player, but I remember quite, it was not very, what you can say, not very old incident. It was a very current incident with a young Indian cricketer who, at this point of time, also part of the Indian cricket team, that what happened between him and Rahane. So, and at that point of time, whatever I know at this point of time, I think Rahane is right. And you don't get a post from that cricketer also around Ajinkya Rahane and his career. So I think there are multiple things when you see Ajinkya Rahane as a cricketer, and when you see Ajinkya Rahane as captain. I don't think that we will get players like Rahane or Pujara in future. Yes, red ball cricket will be there, the players will be there, but the kind of players they are, most importantly Pujara and Rahane, I think you won't get players like them from here onwards. Those are the last of what you can get from Indian cricket as far as purists are concerned, red ball purists.
Srishti, what is your assessment of Rahane's career?
Ajinkya Rahane is a player, like when I watched him, I don't remember how old I was, but yeah, when I watched him, it was red ball cricket only. And I remember him and Cheteshwar Pujara, these two guys used to come and these two guys used to bat for 1 day, 2 days, I don't know how long. And whenever I look at the test cricket now, the players now, I really feel one thing, that again, very rightly Rohit has put it, that the pure test batters are missing, and there will be no one with regards to test cricket like Rahane or Pujara in future. We all talk about the MCG, the 100 and everything, but apart from his knock, I really believe that it is not easy. You need a lot of guts to win a particular test series after you are, like getting all out in 36 runs, and also in front of that lethal Australia. I would use the word lethal because the way they were playing in that series, we all know what happened in that series. So the thing is, with Virat Kohli missing out and team full with youngsters, Mohammad Shami injured, multiple things were there which were going around. So I really feel, apart from his knock, it was also his calm and composed mentality which took Team India to winning that series, because it's never easy. And he is a player, I don't remember, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't remember him showing any kind of aggression or anything on the field while playing test cricket much. And he was very calm, he was smiling even when he was getting hit by the balls. He was smiling at that time also, like, yeah, okay. So that is the thing which is needed whenever you are playing in front of teams like Australia in their own backyard. It's never easy, and the way he carried that particular team, Shubman Gill, a youngster, Mohammad Siraj again, another youngster, Natarajan was there in that series. You don't expect such a bowling lineup to win you against Australia in Border Gavaskar Trophy. After you lost in the first test match, you got bowled out in 36, and Virat Kohli not being there. It's never easy. So I really feel, obviously it was his batting. Nobody's taking the credit from him, but it was also his captaincy. And it's a bit unpopular opinion. I really believe that it was Rahane who literally won that series because he was there. In the absence of Virat Kohli, I can't think of any other name who could have came in, stepped into that captaincy part, and that person could have won that particular series, according to me. And if I talk about recent things, with the campaigns with Kolkata Knight Riders, with the campaign with Chennai Super Kings, CSK, I remember when he played for CSK, it was a bit unlike of Rahane, which I noticed, because I have usually grew up watching him playing that anchor innings. But when he stepped into CSK pack, I am talking about the year 2023. At that particular point of time, he was hitting hard. It was very unlike of him, according to me. It's my personal opinion. And when he stepped into KKR, everybody was expecting a lot more from him. And 2025 was not bad according to the condition of the team. If I talk about his individual performance, it was not bad. In 2026, when you have lost 6 matches straight consecutively, it's never easy to make a comeback. It's never. And the match against Rajasthan Royals at Eden Gardens, it was not an easy match. After what happened, you have lost so many of wickets. So I really feel the way the comeback happened for Kolkata Knight Riders also, obviously they finished in the 7th position, not good, but still that injured team was still in the contention till the very last day of Indian Premier League 2026. So I really feel that he, like, it's my opinion, he should have been celebrated a bit more. Now everybody is talking about him, he deserves it, but I think people could have talked about him more when he was literally there in the Indian team.
Even Ajinkya Rahane should have spoken up a bit more to the media when the time was right. I don't think he utilized the
Yes.
media space as better as he could have during his playing days.
I think, but one of our very own senior was put it correctly around there, that it was difficult times at that point of time. Otherwise it could be I think very celebrated very prominently, rather than, means at that point of time. I also remember that it was a lot of buzz in social media, but in surroundings it was like, okay, we are at this point of time living in a world which is very much in a kind of sad state, in a kind of people were dying. We didn't know what the future will be like. There is this COVID going on at that point of time, different waves. We were in between all of this, and that's why I think I still remember when he landed back, there was some small party kind of thing, dhol baja sab baj raha hai. But I don't think that was, you know, we beating Australia from that situation, as Srishti rightly said, that Mohammad Shami had a fractured hand, and then Mohammad Siraj is your ace bowler as far as coming to the last match of the series is concerned. I think in that scenario, the kind of victory we had, it will be something like a welcome from the airport to his very own house. It is not less than, you have won World Cups, as I rightly said, 2018. I remember them winning the game, but winning the series also. But yes, in that particular series, there was these things that, oh, no Steve Smith, no David Warner, only the bowlers were there, no batters were there. So there were multiple things said after that series from the Australian part. But here is a team who's getting depleted as far as the coming up tests are concerned. They were very strong when that first test happened, 36 all out. Then Rahane said that forget that 36. They were partying, means not the party kind of partying, but they were having different kind of conversations, what Ravi Shastri told them. And after that, the kind of victory they had, I think, again, as Srishti said, that it's the mental toughness of Ajinkya Rahane, which people never celebrate. That, the way we celebrate Virat Kohli's aggression, the way celebrate Virat Kohli's hunger and, his never die attitude. I think it's quite a similar one from Ajinkya Rahane, but not on facial expressions. It was never on his face, but yeah, it was always on in the field. The aggressive moves, be it the Ashwin strategy, be it promoting a Rishabh Pant over Ravindra Jadeja. There were multiple things, happened in that particular series. But yeah, I think if it's not the COVID times, I think it definitely got more views as far as interviews are concerned, the match are concerned. I think match got a proper kind of viewership because
Uh-huh.
it was one of the biggest series, from after the COVID.
People were sitting at their home. They tuned up.
Yes,
They
yes.
tuned up
They
in
don't
numbers.
have
So yeah.
anything to do. So views wise, it was really good. But the celebrations and the aftermath and the interviews and everything around could be a little more stronger if it's not the COVID times.
Bharat, that Border Gavaskar Trophy, what stood out for you? COVID times, there's suffering all around the world. In India, in Australia, Australia was one of the countries with harshest of lockdown and quarantine regulations and protocols out there. Then you have Virat Kohli who left after the first test, the debacle 36 all out. Shami got injured. Siraj was coming in, and he was locked in his room when his father passed away. Rohit Sharma in hard quarantine, could not get out of his room for 14 days, could not meet anyone. Then you have this series of injuries where you have to go deep down till T Natarajan to make him play Test cricket. Player, I think before that he would have played one or two first class matches hardly. To make him play Test cricket in Australian conditions. You have a Shardul Thakur, Washington Sundar, pretty new to the setup. What stood out for Ajinkya Rahane in that campaign for you? Yes, the Melbourne century. I think that laid the foundation work of the Indian team for that series comeback. But apart from that, what stood out for you in case of Rahane?
Yeah, that series there are I guess different layers to look at. You already talked about the harshest of lockdowns going around in Australia. Even 1 year later, we saw what happened with one certain legendary tennis player when he went
Hmm.
over to play tennis in Australia. Obviously, they would say without the required papers. So the lockdown was very harsh. And lots of injuries starting from that Adelaide test. Most of your senior pacers are out by the time they played that Gabba test, including Jasprit Bumrah. He was out with an impact injury, or he was also out with an injury. Then you suddenly have Shardul Thakur, you have T. Natarajan, who was basically net bowler, I guess, before that particular test. And then you have Washington Sundar. He himself, I'm pretty sure he had played about two or three first class games maximum. He was more of a limit dose bowler even then. So you look at the kind of cricketers that India had going in that test match. Even before the test match, obviously the Sydney test, it seemed like India were going to lose that game. I remember Pat Cummins, all these guys bowling short ball after short ball to Ashwin, Hanuma Vihari, and somehow India managed to draw this test match. So the kind of mental toughness that we saw during that series, it is something that can't be described in words or can't be penned down in words, because it's something that it is beyond one's comprehension. So a lot of credit has to be given to Rane, first of all, as a captain. A lot of credit has to be given to obviously Ravi Shastri and the rest of the Indian backroom staff, including Bharat around, because in Australian conditions, to beat Australia at the Gabba, that is something else. Just remember in 1988-89 when West Indies beat Australia, they had Patrick Patterson at the Gabba. I'm talking about that Patrick Patterson, Malcolm Marshall, Courtney Walsh, and I guess Cutley Ambrose. That is one hell of an attack to lose to. And in 2021, India had T. Natarajan, Shardul Thakur, Navdeep Saini, Mohammad Siraj, young Mohammad Siraj, and obviously, Washington Sundar.
Washington
And even
Sundar.
in that, yeah, and even in that, Navdeep Saini got injured, and somehow India went on to win that Gaba test. So a lot of credit has to be given to Rahane and Shastri. Obviously, he also showed his tactical awareness, though one can say that it was Ravi Shastri's move to ask Ashwin to bowl with a little bit of moisture around at the MCG. So yeah, we have seen that even before, not just in that Border Gavaskar Trophy, even back in 2017, one saw that in another of those Border Gavaskar trophies, Rahane's tactical nose or tactical awareness. So yeah, brilliant captain. So I guess in that sense, if it was, as it has already been noted, if it were not for COVID, it definitely would have been welcomed back with a lot more laurels, with a lot more fanfare. But that didn't exactly happen. But yes, that you know why exactly it didn't happen, because it was a sad time, not just for India but world over. It was a very sad time for everyone. But still, Rahane's name will be etched in the memories of fans and experts. And as I noted, even 100 years later, if the game of leather and willow, if it is not played, if there is life still on Earth, then also Rahane's name will be somewhere found in footnotes for that one particular series. In my humble opinion, the greatest Test series win in the history of cricket.
Cricket.
Very true, very true. Rohit, now let's talk a bit about his IPL career as well. He has had two 500 plus seasons for Rajasthan Royals. I think people forget it pretty quickly. He was the captain of Rajasthan Royals as well for quite a while. Uh, was a decent bat, I would say, having two 500 plus seasons for IPL for any IPL team. I think it's a decent achievement. He has been around since the very first edition of IPL started with Mumbai Indians, if I'm not wrong. Then Rajasthan Royals, played for Chennai Super Kings. I think that is where he started his own batting revolution. That 60 odd of 20 odd deliveries against Mumbai Indians. I think that was the highlight of his stint with Chennai Super Kings. Came to Kolkata, captained them. Yes, did not get that much success, but I was seeing today all the KKR fan pages, fans who were criticizing Rahane. They were also thanking for his contribution for the Indian team, for the Indian jersey. So everyone respects Ajinkya Rahane, the test player, the Indian test player, but I feel he did not capitalize, or he did not get full value of his white ball credentials or white ball batting as he could have done. I think had he played more for Indian white ball teams, his IPL career would have flourished a bit more. But now KKR need a new captain. Your thoughts on that, and of course Ajinkya Rahane, the IPL player.
I think if you see his career also, white ball wise also, he got the opportunity to play for India in the white ball first and later as far as his the red ball debut is concerned. So that's one thing, which is little surprising. If you see his first class average over 50, over 60 sometimes, most of the times over 60. So it clearly gives you an idea that, him as a red ball batter is a much better batter, as far as his white ball contributions are for India or for IPL. But when you talk about his IPL greatness, it was century. I remember his century against Royal Challengers Bengaluru.
He has a
2000,
couple of centuries, if I'm not
a
wrong.
couple of centuries. I think one versus Delhi, if I'm not wrong. One versus RCB, I remember quite. I remember that century. His six boundaries versus Sri Sant, if I'm not wrong. Again, memory serves me right. If his six boundaries, continuous six boundaries in an over versus Sri Sant, and the most important part is, I don't know whether Rajasthan, will remember him or not, or Rajasthan Royals fan remember him or not. I know that one of the finest seasons as a batter is concerned. Yes, he'll definitely talk about the Chennai Super Kings season, and that's with something with Mahendra Singh Dhoni, be it a Shane Watson, be it a Faf du Plessis, be it someone like Ajinkya Rahane, be it a Robin Uthappa. They come to Chennai Super Kings and they, but they perform really better as compared to, in different franchises, and we've seen it with different players. Talk about a Shivam Dube. He was with Rajasthan Royals and suddenly he went to Chennai Super Kings, looked like a completely different batter. Not this season, but last couple of seasons, and that's why even part of the India team also, the team, one of the very few players who's been
Rahane
part
also
of
made a comeback after playing for CSK,
after playing
WTC.
for CSK, that WTC. We didn't mention that WTC thing. I think both the half centuries, if you talk about that innings, and from there he got a chance to travel with the team to West Indies
Top
also.
scorer for India. Top
Yeah,
scorer for
West
India in
Indies
that
also.
WTC final.
And if I'm not wrong, he's been designated as the vice captain also during that West Indies series, just for only for that series. So I think, yeah, that gave him that kind of chances also. But Rahane, the player and the captain, the leader in Rajasthan Royals, I think he is during that point of time is I think one of the players who, Rajasthan Royals never been talked about a franchisee where you will see, the flair kind of players. Now they have a Vaibhav Suryavanshi, now they have a Yashasvi Jaiswal, different players. But during that time, they're mostly those kind of players only, touch, beauty, perfection, and
Ajinkya
orthodox
Rahane,
shot.
Sandeep Sharma.
Sanju Samson, Rahul Dravid before that. Sanju is always someone who can score runs quite quickly, but he's very much textbook. Not someone who you see, putting those, what we call them, scoop shots, or, mainly the unorthodox shots. So I think what Rahane, obviously as a leader, your legacy built around the trophies. They didn't want the trophies, but I think Rahane, the leader in Rajasthan Royals, controlled and move forward with them really wonderfully. So I think whenever I talk about Ajinkya Rahane as an IPL player, I don't see what he did in KKR. Let me not go to the KKR side, because KKR, that's a very dark side of it. Means captaincy, and he was not the best batter. Multiple times, we told
He had the best
multiple
strike
times
rate of his career as per him.
that I differ with Ajinkya Rahane there, and I really want to see him not not going with this, when there is so much been asked from, as far as current day and age is concerned. If it's the same kind of old style batting is going on in IPL, I think everyone can sustain. But when you know that now IPL has completely changed, and especially the roles of openers, then you cannot be go like this. If you see this year's IPL only, and you will see the batting in power play, you'll see him somewhere down the order when you talk about strike rates and consistency, averages and strike rate, balls per boundary, balls per sixes. It doesn't matter that how much you score. It's the pace now which matters. Look at a Virat Kohli, how he, the evolution in Virat Kohli's batting. This is this particular season, which we completed in 2026, is the best strike rate season for Virat Kohli, and it is, somewhere it is touching 170, somewhere it's coming to 160. It's not the same Virat Kohli who known for his consistency with a strike rate of 129, 130, or 135. Similar thing with Shubman Gill also. So you have to understand this, that people who want to play or who are playing IPL at this point of time, and there was a kind of batting they were doing 5 years ago, 3 years ago. Now they have to change it because IPL has completely changed. So KKR part is I don't want to talk on the KKR part, because I really wanted him to, you know, take that kind of decision with Owen Morgan did, Gautam Gambhir did in 2018 with Delhi Capitals, that I want to sit out, not able to contribute. Owen Morgan did it with certain times that we have better players. Let me sit out, and these players will play for England at this point of time. So that what I expected, and I find him that kind of a leader only, selfless leader. Always, in our eyes, always Ajinkya Rahane will remain as Bharat sir is saying that 100 years he's saying, but I think people will live on this earth for more than 100 years at least. Let's not kill everyone under 100 years. But I think Ajinkya Rahane, as a test leader, as a test cricketer, will be remain as someone who's very selfless. Look at that decision after the Cape Town test, that we want to rest our vice captain. Look at that thing. Never ever I heard something from Ajinkya Rahane with that. Can you imagine the similar thing? Means obviously Rishabh Pant didn't said anything also, but generally Indian cricket doesn't go like this. That you are making a vice captain sit out and he's keeping his quiet. So yeah, I think IPL wise, I'll always remember the Rajasthan Royals phase, the Chennai Super Kings phase. I don't want to talk about on the KKR phase, because it was he was trying, but it's not happening, and it was very evident from the very first few games that nahi hoga bhai, chhod do. क्यों? और the similar kind of thing which people are writing today also, that देर कर दी उन्होंने बहुत अपना टेस्ट क्रिकेट अनाउंस करने में, रिटायरमेंट अनाउंस करने में. These are the things. around IPL.
Anyone wants to add anything on Rahane before we close this show? I think we are good. So yeah, Ajinkya Rahane, a fantastic
Your
career
Just
comes
want
memories
to
to
an
of
end.
Ajinkya
just
Rahane.
want to clarify
आपने
one
तो
thing. I
white
said,
पहना भी हुआ है.
Huh?
if in case, I said, if in case, if there is no life, I never thought that there would be any life 100 years later. But if in
Uh-huh.
case, because of all this climate change and all, whatever it is, but just wanted to clarify.
Stop watch. Stop watching those news channel shows. 2027 में धरती तबाह. Stop watching those shows. Shubhata, your memories of
Yeah,
Ajinkya Rahane. आपने तो white पहना भी हुआ है. You have covered him quite closely.
no,
You've asked him
I think
question
I
in the
think
press conference.
when
आपने
we
press
last
conference.
met,
Yeah.
yes, of course, IPL we met, but when we last had a proper conversation, it was in Lords. We talked a bit about KKR. We talked. I informed him about Bharat Arun leaving for Lucknow Super Giants, and he was quite surprised. बोला कहाँ पे कब कैसे? मतलब आप कैप्टन और आपको ही नहीं पता. So I informed him about Bharat Arun. Then we had a, a bit of conversation around slip catching near that coffee area of Lord's cafeteria. Then suddenly Cheteshwar Pujara also walked in and stood behind me. So I said, why leave this opportunity? I said, India के नंबर बेस्ट नंबर 4 और 5 ऐसे टेस्ट स्पेशलिस्ट और नहीं मिलेंगे. फिर we took a photo, me, Pujara and Rahane, and that is where Rahane से whispered in my ear, सारा जिंदगी टेस्ट स्पेशलिस्ट बना के ही छोड़ दिया आप लोगों ने. So we had a bit of laugh वहाँ पे. So after that we of course had formal conversation during IPL. But yeah, fantastic guy, great career. I feel he should have spoken a bit more about his career. About he could have used the media space a bit
You,
better.
you can tell this to his former media manager.
He's former, nah. That's the issue. But yeah, a great personality, a great human being, very disciplined, very great. He's kind of a personality when he walks in front of you, you won't dare to start a conversation with a joke, with a joke or with a laugh. So you have to keep that pace with him also. But again, as a
Seriousness.
cricketer, I think as a cricketer, I think he should be an example for all the young batters who are coming in, and I hope that the BCCI uses his experience in
Right.
the future
I don't think
for
that would
centre of
happen,
excellence.
unfortunately. Because of T20 cricket, you are seeing so many batters having that backward triggers,
Yeah.
staying deep in the crease. So that era of classical front foot batting, I think, is basically coming to an end. Sorry for getting in.
That is where I feel the BCCI should use Pujara, Rahane, all these players at the center of excellence where there are young players. We recently saw Harbhajan Singh going in there giving advice to the players. So why not use Rahane and Pujara and build that mentality, build that technical uh, brilliance also among young batters. So hopefully he will have a very good second innings post cricket. Also he will be connected to cricket as part of his broadcast duties. But I sincerely hope he gets into coaching and passes his valuable experience to the youngster also. So thank you so much for watching for now. And let's see what this second innings holds up for Rahan and his family. Thank you so much for watching.